Welcome to the last activity of Chef Club, and today we are going to go into the FHF instructional kitchen, which is right here, and do a little DIY recipe together. So there's no better way to cool off in the summer than a fresh ice pop. So today we are going to use some of the supplies that came in your box, but you're also really welcome to kind of customize the recipe and use whatever that feels best for you. You can eat and enjoy eating, and that you have at hand or on hand at home. So in your box, you should have received 5 icicle molds that come like this, some dried fruit, and then we ask that you provide either water or a favorite juice that you have at home. I have a strawberry flavored one here, but really anything that you have at home that freezes will go great. So you'll want that, and then first we're just going to set out our supplies, so make sure you have everything ready to go here. So the first step, once you have all your supplies out, is to take your freeze-dried fruit that you have here and just crunch it up a little bit. So this is going to be a little noisy, but you want to make sure that you have some pieces that fit into here. So you don't want to crush it to a dust, but you want to make sure that some of the larger chunks kind of break up a little bit. So once you crush up the fruit that's in here, you're going to want to pour that into your mold. So you have a couple molds that you're going to want to evenly split between. I just have one here, so I'm just going to open it up at the top and then pour it in. It's a good idea to make sure before you get started that you wash your hands so that if you end up touching any of the food in the bags that they're all clean. So I'm making a bit of a mess, so it's always good to do this activity in the kitchen. So we're going to pour some down there. Pour a few more pieces in, great. So you're going to have your dried fruit here. The next step after you pour your freeze-dried fruit in is to pour your liquid. So I'm going to open mine here. It might be helpful depending on what you're pouring from, if you have a funnel or maybe you have a friend or a caregiver that could help you with holding it while you pour. And you're going to want to notice the fill line here on the baggie, and you're not going to want to fill any bigger than that. And that's because that when liquids freeze, they expand, so you want to make sure there's enough space here. Let the fizz die down a little bit. So as you can see, the fruit is kind of dissolving here, and so that the flavor of the fruit will kind of mix with whatever juice or water you choose, and then it will help kind of naturally sweeten up your ice pop. So once you pour it in up to the line, the next step is really just freezing it. So I would recommend, if you want the fruit mixed in, to go ahead and freeze it on its side so that way it gets kind of evenly distributed in the liquid. You also, if you don't think you're going to like the texture of having the freeze-dried fruit in there, you can feel free to kind of open it back up and take a spoon to take out the freeze-dried fruit. That's totally fine. And really, we recommend kind of exploring different flavors that you might like. So we provided this freeze-dried fruit, but maybe you have some fresh fruit at home or canned fruit that you might want to use instead. Maybe you really love smoothies and you want to try freezing that. You can pour that, make that on your own how you normally would, and then fill it in here. The options are endless. So lemonade, water, fruit juices, anything that you might have would be great. And be sure, if you find a recipe that you really like, to add it to your DIY cookbook that you made last month, and make sure that you can recreate the recipe over and over again. And let us know what you tried and what you enjoyed.